Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This past week, many of us returned to familiar places and familiar tables. Thanksgiving is a holiday of gratitude, but also a time of reunion. We may see relatives we haven't seen in a year, if not longer. We sit in the same chairs, many of us at the same tables, surrounded by old photos and older memories. Sometimes we reunite not only with people and with spaces, but with conversations that we thought we were finished having or hope to avoid. Sometimes those reunions are joyful, sometimes they're complicated, and often they're both. Thanksgiving has a way of reminding us that even when miles and years can separate us, that unresolved feelings and stories travel with us. It's as if we carry them in our baggage. And it is in that same spirit that we encounter this week's Torah portion. This week in Parashat Vayishlach, we read one of the more mysterious and powerful moments of Torah. Jacob, Yaakov, traveling at night on his way to reconcile with his brother, Esau. He is suddenly confronted by a great and unexpected struggle. The text simply tells us that, quote, a man wrestled with him until daybreak. It offers little more. We don't know who the opponent is, what exactly happens, and the Torah is strikingly sparse, inviting generations of commentators and Jews to imagine what took place that evening into the night. But Jacob and Esau's relationship did not fracture by accident. Earlier in their lives, Jacob twice took what was meant to be from his brother. First, by bargaining for Esau's birthright in his hunger and vulnerability. And second, later in disguising himself to deceive their father, claiming the blessing intended for Esau. The result was not only a stolen inheritance, but a shattered family. Esau's heartbreak turned to rage, and Jacob would flee for his life. What would begin as sibling rivalry would grow into stories of betrayal, mistrust, and silence that would last decades for their family. Rashi, perhaps our most famous Torah commentator, all the way from 11th century France, draws on a midrash, a sort of parable, offering a textual interpretation, that Jacob is wrestling with the angel or spirit of his brother Esau, the embodiment of the brother he deceived, the relationship he severed. In other words, Jacob isn't simply wrestling an angel, to Rashi. He's wrestling with the unresolved consequences of his own past, of his own choices, his use of trickery, deception, a stolen blessing, and a family torn apart through his actions. For 20 years, Jacob avoids his brother. The last time they see each other, Esau threatens to kill him. Jacob builds a family, he builds a life. In the past, did not disappear. It only traveled with him quietly and persistently, despite his understanding that he may have buried it behind him. And on the eve of their reunion, the past finally steps out of the shadows. Before Jacob can meet Esau in the daylight, he must first grapple with his choices in the dark. And the encounter changes him. Jacob emerges from that struggle limping, marked by the confrontation he had long avoided. He's not only wounded, though, as many of us know, he's renamed. He receives a new identity, our identity, Yisrael, the one who wrestles, this one who refuses to let go. The struggle does not erase his past, but it allows him to reshape his future. The wound becomes part of his blessing, a reminder that transformation often does leave marks. It is often painful, it is often challenging and time-consuming, but it is a testament to growth. Rashi's comments, even from the 11th century, make this moment deeply human, teaching us that conversations we delay become the conversations that we must have. The truths that we avoid never vanish, but they wait for us. And like Jacob, the work of repair, of reconciliation, often means staying in the struggle longer than is comfortable. So perhaps this Shabbat, we have to ask ourselves on a personal level, what unfinished struggle asks for our attention? What conversation, what truth have we deferred? What blessings might be waiting on the other side of wrestling, whether with ourselves, our family, our siblings, probably more literal wrestling with siblings, if we're brave enough not to let go. So whether of thanksgiving of the past, of the future, or of moments of the present, let us take the opportunity to do that digging and to look inward, to ask ourselves, what are the conversations we assume that one day we will have the time for, or the emotional energy or wherewithal, and allow them to come to bear earlier so we may have their fruits. So may we enter this Shabbat with the courage of Jacob, of Israel, of our name, to face what we fear, to hold on through the night, literally or metaphorically, and to emerge with blessing and with the limp, a little more honest, a little more whole, and ready to walk into the light of a new day. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Amen.